Hey everybody, it's Kim here from Masks Off, and this is the first time that I've done a solo podcast in a very long time. I've had a number of amazing guests, and we've had some really, really good conversations. And today I just wanted to come on and be by myself for a little bit and just talk with you. So, what I want to talk about today is really kind of what underpins the people pleaser and the perfection mask. So I have been really on social media quite a bit lately talking about the people pleaser and the perfectionist. And in fact, my coaching business now is centered around working with the people pleaser and the perfectionist and helping them to unhook from those patterns and to be more powerful. And what I wanted to really kind of zone in on today is what is that thing that's underneath us being a people pleaser or a perfectionist? And I want to really talk about shame and the feeling of unworthiness and not feeling lovable. So I've been doing some meditating and some inner work lately because I've had this coming to the surface for me. And I really have been noticing how much I really don't value myself or love myself at times. And people will say to me, people have said to me throughout my life that, oh, you're so good at this, you're so good at teaching, you're amazing at doing this or that. And to be honest with you, for a very, very long time, it was really hard for me to let that sink in. And a lot of that. So I was like, okay, well, why is it so hard? Why is it so freaking hard for me to allow in a compliment or to receive? And then I was even noticing how it's hard for me to receive money, receive anything like receiving money, receiving a compliment. And so I didn't want this feeling, this energy to keep blocking me from one, being able to really open my heart and to be able to receive and feel love from people that care about me. And I wanted to be able to receive clients as well. So I have been doing a lot of work on what is it? What is going on here? And what I can come up with is this, is that so growing up, if any of you have grown up in an alcoholic home or a codependent home, then you probably are going to be able to resonate with what I'm saying. And when I say that this is what my experience was for me as a child, this doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that I'm putting any kind of blame on my parents, because I'm not. They did the best that they could do with what they had. And their upbringing was similar. And then their parents' upbringing was similar. So it's this generational pattern. And so I know on some level that my parents loved me. I really, truly do know that they loved me, but they weren't able to give me the love that I needed, the nurturing that I needed when I was little. So I made this interpretation that because my needs were not being met and I didn't feel that my needs were worthy or valuable. And most likely it was just because my mom was like caught up in so many other things that were going on, or, my dad was working, or whatever was going on at the time. I just didn't get my needs met, and I didn't feel like my needs were important. Thus why I now wear the people pleaser mask, or I'm a recovering people pleaser, and why I would always put other people's needs ahead of my own, because I was conditioned that what I need, if I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling scared, or I'm feeling lonely, I learned I had to deal with those big feelings by myself. No one was there to comfort or nurture or say that it was okay. And so I was in a constant state of a perpetual state of fear and anxiety, not knowing how to handle or deal with these really, really big emotions. And this is like such a common thing that parents do with their children, and not on purpose. It's not on purpose, but they do it. And that's why Dr. Shefali is so freaking like popular and amazing with conscious parenting, because this is how parents have unconsciously parented in the past. And people, thank God, are starting to wake up and wanting to do it differently. So going back to like, my needs weren't met. I didn't get the comfort or the nurturing when I had big emotions. And I learned to just stuff them, push them away. What I need is not important. I must not be lovable enough. I must not be worthy enough for anything, if someone's not here to love me in that way. So I didn't know how to, I never had the opportunity or the practice of receiving love and nurturing, and it's okay. And I'm sorry that you're feeling this way, or, oh, you're scared. Let me hug you. Let me hold you. It's okay. Like that kind of stuff. So naturally, as a young child, I just interpreted that, or attached a meaning that I'm not worthy enough. And then, as I got older, went through adolescence, and I shared this many times on the podcast, that through adolescence, or when I went through puberty, I had a lot of acne. I was overweight. I just looked different. And I didn't have the boys, A, be interested in me as a girlfriend, or B, they would make fun of me. And I was ostracized. So I had all that shame around my body image, around something that was just natural to go through puberty. And I happened to go through it more quickly than others, and just kind of put on a lot of weight, and there was genetics in there. It was nothing that I could control. Trust me when I tell you that I tried everything I could to lose weight, and I couldn't, and tried to get rid of the acne, and I couldn't. So I had all this shame at a very young age. And I also learned that if I wanted to be validated, that I had to perform. I had to perform, and I had to perfect, and then I had to please my mom, and I had to please the people around me. If I did those things, then there's some type of external validation or sense that I was okay. But on the inside, I never felt it. I never felt it. I never knew how to really receive. So this is what happens. This is how the people pleaser and the perfectionist patterns are formed. And this is how they continue to perpetuate in our lives, unless we, A, become aware of them. We have to be aware that we are playing out these patterns, that we're living a pattern and we're not living a life. We're living according to how other people want us to live. There's another sense of shame, another sense of something's wrong in me, because now, me or you, now we're starting to live the way people want us to live, or the way they expect us to live. We have to do what they want us to do, say what they want us to say. And God forbid that if you're the type of person who does speak up and speak out against people, you could very well be shamed and ridiculed and put down and shut down. And this happens over and over and over again. So there's another sense and another layer of this unworthiness. And so if we have to become aware first and foremost, and then once we are aware that we are living out a pattern and we're not living our lives, then we can go in. And that's what I've done is we have to own that it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to change this pattern. No one is going to come along on the white horse. There's no knight in shining armor. There's no fairy godmother that's going to come along and do the work for you. There's no one that's going to make you just all of a sudden feel worthy of love and belonging and valuable and lovable. The only one who can do that is you. So if you are continuously looking for that relationship, that job, that house, to belong to a certain friend group, for your kids to validate you, if you're any of that stuff, being on a board or PTA or whatever, if you are looking for any of that to make you feel worthy, I can tell you, and I'm sure you know this because you can feel it, that will never ever work. So only you can do the work to change and make you feel worthy on the inside. And it's really important to go inward over and over again when the pattern comes up, when you catch yourself, oh, there I am people pleasing. Oh, there I am performing, or now I'm perfecting. I have to be perfect. When you catch yourself doing those things, it's an opportunity to pause and go in. And I do this like through a meditation, and I teach this practice in my 5-step power pathway, how to go in and how to really see and nurture and acknowledge that vulnerable, wounded part of you, your inner child that was so left by the wayside when you were a little child, and how to go in and nurture him or her, and how to include the part of you that you're wanting to exclude. This is part of the shadow work that I teach and that I talk about. And then when you come from a place of healing that, then you can make different choices, and then you can take radical responsibility of changing your life and living the life for you, according to you, not according to other people. So these are the general steps of the 5-step power pathway. And, it's a practice that I have developed and that I cultivate day after day after day, because it took a long, long time for many of us here, if you're listening, to get to where we are. And it's not going to just change overnight. And all of a sudden you wake up one day, oh, now I see my people pleaser and perfection patterns. And now I'm going to all of a sudden be sovereign, and I'm going to all of a sudden be in my wholeness. It takes time, because all of the times that you pushed down your true self that was trying to come up and say, no, don't, please, you don't have to perfect. Please let me be worthy and seen for just who I am. You're like, nope, that can't be. I have to perfect. I have to perform, because if I don't, then my mom is going to be angry, or my spouse is going to not be happy with me, or whatever the case is. So all those times that you just kind of push down and push that away and stuff, that it all has to come up. It all has to come up to the surface to be healed. And it's a practice and it does take time. So if you're listening to this particular podcast and you resonate with what I'm saying, you hear me, you're like, oh God, yeah, I know that. I feel that happened to me when I was a child. That's how it works for me. And you absolutely have no idea on how to unhook from the patterns. I get it. It's extremely challenging at times, and it can be really, really hard to do it alone. So if you are wanting to have someone help support you, just reach out to me. You can email me. You can message me. There's a number of ways. You can go to my website. You can actually, and it's all in the show notes, but my website is kimgrosscoaching.com. You can even click on a call and have a free 30-minute call if you're needing support and help like right away. I can do that with you. There will be a link to my Calendly, so we can reach out that way. And I'll just keep coming on and sharing more content and hoping that that is helpful for you as well. I just want to say to all of you who have been listening to my podcast over the last several months, and supporting, I really appreciate it. I love doing this. I love having this podcast and talking about this content. I can live it morning, I eat, breathe, sleep, the people pleaser, perfectionist, masks off stuff, morning, noon, and night. So I really do appreciate your support. And if you don't already subscribe, I would love it if you did. And then leave me a comment and let me know what you think so far. Okay, so everybody have a great week.